So I have 5 reasons for you as to why you should not even consider getting dreadlocks if you are already thinking about it. My first reason is you want to impress people. You're not doing it for yourself. You're not getting the dreadlocks because you think that it would be a good move for you on your part. Like, it's just not going to work out. You know, if you do things for other people, it inevitably just falls apart. It never works out. You're not happy, and honestly, no one cares what you do with your hair. As weird as this sounds, nobody cares what you do. I mean, it's true. It's your hair as well. You do what you want with your own hair. So that's how I feel about it. Number 2, there is little thought put into it. You're hasty with it. You just, one day you're not thinking about it, and the next day you're like, you know what? I'm getting dreadlocks. I would highly not recommend doing that. Anything that's rushed, again, inevitably does not work out very well, in my opinion. I mean, dreadlocks are not a fashion statement, in my opinion. It's a lifestyle. It's like a whole another world of dealing with hair. It's a whole nother way of looking at how to work with your hair. I mean, it's nothing to jump into. It really isn't. It's nothing that you can just be like, well, I'm going to try this one day, and the next day, I don't like it. You know, it's a whole different mentality. It's a whole different mindset. If you're not willing to jump into that, you know, like, I don't know what to tell you. It's just not going to work out, honestly. Number 3, lack of patience, or you're not willing to learn patience. Let me tell you, these dreads are 5 months old, and they didn't look like this the first week. They were super fuzzy. I mean, they were super loopy, and you look at them now, and they look all right. They look pretty good, but they're still babies. You see where there's still loops? I mean, honestly, dreads do not mature or look, you know, like super locked up until they're at least a year old. I mean, if you're not willing to, like, work with that, if you're not willing to develop the patience for that, then I would recommend not doing it. You don't want to, like, end up one day just absolutely hating your hair, which some days will happen. You're going to look at your hair and you're going to be like, why did I do this? Because every day is so different with dreads. Because they're just going through so many, like, phases. They look fuzzy one day, and the next day they shrink up a lot, and you're like, what happened to my hair length and everything else? And you're like, maybe this wasn't a good idea. But if you had known prior to getting dreads that they're going to go through these changes, you might have the patience to deal with it. But again, you have to have patience just in general. These are a very time-orienting thing, like the maintenance as well. Sometimes when I do people's hair, it takes... Yesterday actually took me about 8 hours to do my friend's hair. So, yeah, you need patience. Number 4, unwillingness to learn about dreadlock maintenance and whatnot. Like I was just kind of saying earlier, like if you know what you're getting into, then you then have the mind power to know how to handle what you're getting yourself into. You know, dreadlocks again is a whole different ballgame than regular combed out hair. You have to know how to handle your hair. You can't wash your hair with stuff that you normally would wash your hair with. I mean, you have got to do your homework. You have got to do your research. I can't, like, say that enough. You have to know what you're getting yourself into. This is not something that you can just jump into. Not at all. And you may see people online and be like, oh, that's cute. I really like that. I want that. But you have to know, like, everyone's hair dreads differently. Like, my hair is super curly, so there's a lot more loops in it and whatnot. But your hair might be straight, and it might not look like this. If this is what, like, you saw and you're like, oh, I want that. Your hair might not even look like this when it's dreaded. I mean, I couldn't even tell you for sure because everyone is so unique and so different, you know. Number 5, if you have unrealistic expectations for dreadlocks, such as never having loops. I get that question a lot. How do I get rid of loops? Actually, that's a good sign. You want loops in your hair because it's telling you that your hair is dreading like it should. Having loops in your hair is inevitable. That's just a sign that your hair is locking like it should. You know, like I said earlier, your hair doesn't mature until you're like 5 or a year older or whatnot. You know, not having shrinkage. Your hair is going to shrink. No, if your hair is like probably to here, it's going to shrink up to at least here. You're going to have short dreads. You're going to lose at least 6 inches. People don't understand that. That's why you got to put in the homework in order to understand what you're getting yourself into. Get out of here. But that's basically it. You gotta not care what other people think. You gotta do this for yourself because this is definitely a spiritual, mental, and physical journey. You know, physical as an appearance, they change all the time. You know, day to day even. Make sure that you're not making a hasty decision. That's just not wise in any situation. Make sure that you have patience and you're willing to learn patience if you don't have that. And make sure that you're educating yourself, watching videos on YouTube, on maintenance. Just surrounding yourself with people on social media that have dreadlocks and maybe asking them questions, getting to know like how they, you know, handle their hair and whatnot. And then don't have unrealistic expectations. Like, just don't. Do the research and you'll know exactly what to expect with dreadlocks. Thank you for watching.